guys, this is Angelica from Love Up Reviews.
I'm Matt.
And I already said my name, and I'm Angelica.
From Love Up Reviews.
From Love Up Reviews. If you haven't noticed, I'm from that channel, the little area over there. Today we're actually talking about Supergirl, Flash, Arrow, the first week. We are a week behind, but we will catch up for you guys, and we will do the video up soon for this week that just came out.
Yes, we will. It's been exciting, actually, because we didn't really announce it or anything, but we actually went on a cruise for a week, so we kind of fell behind, but we promised us we'll get out. So, with all that said, we're not going to give away too many spoilers, or we're going to try not to, but we are going to go ahead and give our little recaps of what we thought about those. There might be some spoilers added in, so just a warning ahead, you know, but these are just our opinions on what's going to possibly happen with the show. So I guess we'll start with
Supergirl.
Supergirl.
So Supergirl to us felt a little depressing. We realized we didn't watch the last episode of the last season, so we watched it and then watched the first episode of this season, and we're like, what happened? So, what happened?
The thing about the show is, I'm loving Supergirl. I love what the CW has done with the character. The second season blew the first season out of the water.
It was awesome.
The problem is now, as you all know, Mon-El's gone. She had to send him away to save his life, and so she's all alone. And the problem was, and I'm kind of glad they did it in a way, because it showed her...
Yeah, at least he didn't die, though.
But it showed her emotion, what she did during this first episode.
I like that too, because she didn't have anything, so she kind of just was there, and then they brought Mon-El in, and it actually showed a different side of her that we didn't really see before.
But now we got to see her with heartbreak, and it was pretty heartbroken, actually. She was a broken person, and she honestly was pulling away from herself as Kara and leaning more towards Supergirl, feeling as though she was tired of being a human and that she was only an alien. She didn't even feel a human part of her.
Which I felt very sad about.
But
she did, at the end of the episode, she did realize I am more helpful sometimes as a human side of me than Supergirl, which I thought everyone kind of got together about that. There was Alexis, her sister, told her about that. There was Martian Manhunter, which I forgot his name, what's his name?
Johns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that guy. He was saying, you've helped me way more times than, like, Supergirl's ever, which I thought was very interesting. But we also have, Luna Luthor bought Catco.
Well, see, here's the thing, is we have a new villain that rose up in the first episode, which, you know, most of them do, because it kind of, like, starts off the season. We have a mobster. Actually, I had to go look up information on him. I've never heard of this guy before. I actually forgot to write his name down, but he's a new head guy. He's, I would say he's like the DC equivalent of Kingpin. He's just a mobster, no powers, nothing like that, but he's a land developer, and so he's actually wanting to destroy a bunch of land and actually develop on them and make millions of dollars off it. The problem is he's willing to destroy people's homes and stuff in the process. And one of the things he did not like was what Catco was posting about Supergirl. He wanted to kind of give Supergirl a different light and kind of like show the bad side of her. So he tried to buy Catco, and that's why she said that Luna Lex decided she was going to.
Yes.
Wait, is it Lena Lex?
It's Luna. Luna Lex Thor.
No. It's not Lex, sorry, it's Luna Luthor. Yeah.
Luna, I don't know why we're saying...
Anyway, she bought Catco to save it from him.
And so, in this episode, Kara did quit, but since Luna did buy the corporation, she is going back as a reporter to help her friend out, because Luna has no clue how to run a business in media.
Now, something strange did... Now, this is a spoiler, just to let you know. Something strange did happen, and I'm going to lead into it, and I'm going to let her finish with it. At the end of the first episode, at the end of the last episode, you saw another ship being launched from Krypton the same time as Kara, and it was almost like a satanic ritual when they let her go, because they put markings on her blood, and they sent this baby off.
The best thing is that the symbol was a skull with, I think there was smoke coming out of it. So I'm guessing it's an evil corporation from Krypton that launched the baby off. So there is a lady that was in there that was a mom saving her daughter, somehow got super strength. Sometimes that happens with parents. I've heard about that.
The adrenaline rush is real. It does happen.
Yeah.
But this woman was like, no, She-Hulk. Oh,
yeah,
she
it was a lot more.
She lifted up a
strength.
beam that only Superman or Supergirl could lift it up.
So that was a little strange, but we also saw at the very end of the episode, if you watched the very end, you went back into the water and they showed a ship. It didn't look like the ship that was launched before, which was a very odd thing because
it almost looked like a Draxon ship.
It looked like something not of Krypton. So it was just all of a sudden it was appeared because of the missiles from the bad guys.
And that was pretty much the end of Supergirl. So that was the end of the first episode. Now we're going to move over to Flash. And Flash, unfortunately, kind of did the same kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Do you want to give a recap of what happened at the end of Flash season?
So the end of the last episode of Flash, obviously Barry defeats Savitar. Sorry, I forgot his name for a second. Savitar. But the whole, what is it called? The Flashpoint?
Speed Force.
Speed Force. We didn't watch the first episode, the last episode, so I'm a little confused.
We're filming this late also, so excuse us.
So the Flash, what was it called? Speed Force.
Speed Force.
So the Speed Force all of a sudden randomly erupts. Lightning goes everywhere. So Barry decides he must go in and to stabilize the Speed Force.
The Speed Force needs a prisoner. It's a prison. It needs a prisoner, and when they pulled the other Flash out of it, it made it unstable.
Yeah.
So Flash enters in, pretty much leaves them to their own thing.
Leaves them, says goodbye, be strong, I'll be over here in this prison.
So the beginning of the first episode now for the new season, they're all working. They're all doing their thing. You got Kid Flash, you have his sister Iris who's very strong. She's taken Barry's advice too much and became like kind of the leader of the team. But she's forgetting about Barry. She's already decided Barry's gone. She's forgotten about him. The rest of the team, you could tell they're all missing Barry. Well, Kid Flash, you have Vibe. They're both working together. Caitlin's gone. And then you have Joe, of course, who's helping them out. But unfortunately, as they're saving the city, a new villain comes up and kind of defeats them and pretty much says, I want the Flash. I want the real Flash. I want to battle him. I want to challenge him. And that's what causes them to try to get Barry out of the Speed Force now.
Yes. The only issue I'm having is, in 6 months, why hasn't any other villain asked for the Flash? It's very it's very strange that it 6 months passes, and then all of a sudden this random guy comes up and says, I want to battle the real Flash. Where's the real Flash?
Maybe it took them 6 months to realize the Flash is gone, because you remember, they're not in the loop like all of Team Flash is. They're outside the loop. They didn't know that Flash was gone.
Yes, I understand.
So maybe it took the villains a while to realize that Flash isn't there because Kid Flash has been taking over. Maybe they thought he was just resting or something.
But that was just like a little opinion of mine. It's just like, why is it taking 6 months for any of them to realize Flash hasn't been seen for 6 months?
Well, plus, it's the first episode. You got to put something in there like that.
It's true. But that's just how the villain came in.
Either way, spoiler alert. We're going to put little spoilers up there somewhere. Anyway, apparently Cisco, and I kind of like the way they did this. Cisco said he's been working on this for months and months and months, but was missing key components, not opponents. And he actually goes and finds Caitlin and shows where Caitlin's at, which she's working in a bar, but something's going on in that bar because
something's very fishy.
There's a guy who walks up as Cisco's talking with her and tries to start a confrontation, and she kind of looks scared and worried, so something's going on. But either way, Caitlin goes and decides to help him, and they actually succeed.
Yay! So Barry gets out. The only issue is he's discombobulated. He has no clue what's happening. He makes sense for a few seconds, and then all of a sudden he just goes he's nothing. Nothing's there.
He's got a mental thing, and they don't know how long he's been in the Speed Force. They know it's been so many months, but the problem is the Speed Force, the time is different there. So they said it could be upwards of 10,000 years he was just sitting there. So his mind was altered and rattled, and he was actually writing symbols all over the walls. And they couldn't figure out what he was talking about villains he had already defeated. He was saying he needed a diaper change, I think, at one point.
Yeah, and then he was talking about
all kinds of stuff.
He was talking about his mom dying. I caught on to that, and then he was talking about House, and then all of a sudden he just went bonkers.
Here's the thing, though. They mentioned that a few times. Okay, so let me lead into this. This is a major spoiler, I think, in my personal opinion. And like I said, this is my opinion. They actually deciphered the code, or Cisco worked on deciphering the code, and they came up with a phrase. Now, when they told the phrase to Barry, he had no clue what it meant. Nothing about the phrase meant anything. But I feel like something is with that phrase. And I feel like it's going to come back. The phrase was, "This house is bitchin'." I, for some reason, feel like something is with that phrase. I feel like Barry actually had sent them a message in that code, and that message is going to come back eventually.
I feel like they haven't shown what he sees when he was in the Speed Force, because every speedster sees something different whenever they go in.
Yeah.
And they're trapped there for as many years as they can, but they're in that one scenario constantly looping it the whole time. So I'm thinking it might be his mom dying. I mean, it's a big thing Barry had to go through. It could be his mom dying, it could be his dad dying. It could be both of them kind of coming together, or maybe he goes to the flashpoint and like something breaks on it. Like, but there's so much stuff that could have happened with Barry, because there's so much stuff that led up to that point where he's had so much tragedy happen. So I feel like they're eventually going to show us what happens in the Speed Force, because I feel like eventually Barry will remember what he experienced. But at a point, Barry is still discombobulated, and basically, what are you looking at me like that?
I think you're about to go into what I was going to talk about.
Well, I want to talk about it. So basically, fine, you talk about it.
No, go ahead.
I can't think of it now. It's all your fault.
So, since Barry's out of his mind right now, I love you.
I'm also trying to thought because of you.
Since Barry's out of his mind right now, they decide to try to trigger his mind. And Iris finally gives up. They tried emotional connections and everything. Iris finally gives up and says, "You know what? Fine, come save me." So she runs away, finds the new villain, which is Samurai, the guy named Samurai, and he's awesome, just want to say. But she goes and finds him and said, "Listen, take me and Barry will find you." Well, she didn't say Barry, of course, she said the Flash, but she goes, "Take me and the Flash will find you." So she jumps on his back and they fly off, and Joe runs over to Barry, all freaking out, pretty much saying, "Hey Barry, Iris just got taken, let's go." For some reason, and they haven't revealed what happened yet, but for some reason that triggered something in Barry, and next thing you know, his eyes turned to lightning and he freaking booked it. Grabbed his new suit, which Cisco made him a new suit, grabbed his new suit, ran out there, and pretty much got Iris back and defeated Samurai, which turned out to be a robot.
Exactly. But the thing is, I love the suit. Little intake on that. The suit looks fantastic. It's a little,
Yes,
it's a lighter,
lot better.
It's a lighter red, and it has, you can definitely tell there's a bunch of gold on him, and it suits him perfectly.
It's not just one full leather suit. There's actually threads now and markings, so it looks just completely awesome and epic when he's wearing it. It's not just, look, here's red and some lightning. No, there's actually like embroidered stuff all over it. It just looks awesome. They did a good job with it.
Yeah. So back to the episode. So basically, Barry saves Iris. They go back, and then they check everything real quick, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're super fine." And then they ask him, like, "Do you remember anything?" And he says, "All I remember is going into the Speed Force, coming out and saving Iris. That's all I remember." So Barry's missing this part where he comes out of the Speed Force and is talking complete gibberish. And he doesn't even remember that Detective
West?
Thanks. Detective West told him to go help save Iris. Like, he doesn't even remember him saying, "Iris is in trouble, go save her." don't remember any of that.
Yeah, so, but that'll lead into the next episode. At the end of the episode, they actually revealed a really big villain, which is the Thinker.
Yes.
And I'm excited for that, and that's all I'm going to let you guys know about that right now.
Yeah.
They'll reveal more later.
Also, Caitlin still has her frosty powers, and she's trying to control it still. Something happened between the guy. She attacked him from the bar. She attacked him. Apparently, she was in a gang or something. But we don't know a whole lot about that. All we know is she wants to quit something. He says you can't. She turns ice on him, tries to freeze his head off. She walks out, and then she tries to become Caitlin again, and she's all like, oh no, not again. So obviously she's gone through this again before. We obviously figured that because she hasn't come back to Team Flash. So she's going to have her own little side venture we're going to go through eventually.
And now that we just spent 10 minutes on the Flash, let's try to do quicker. Let's go to the Arrow. Arrow is actually the one that I think was the better opener. They were all really great, but it was, I think, the better opener. Now, we all know that he saves William, but with Prometheus shooting himself in the head, it destroyed the whole island because it triggered the bombs to go off. So we had no clue what happened. All we knew was Oliver was safe and William was safe. The whole episode, since there's no more flashbacks, they decided that this last little scene on the island is going to be a flashback. So the whole episode they kept doing flashbacks to the islands, and you're literally piecing things together throughout the whole episode of what happened to the whole team, because the whole team was not showing up for a little bit, and everyone kind of kept showing up, and you're like, okay, maybe this person's dead. Nope, they just showed up. Oh, this person's hurt. Nope, they just showed up. Like, you had no clue what was going on. But that was the whole episode right there. Here's some other details that went on in this episode. You want to go ahead and talk about what the team's doing?
Oh, what the team's doing? And the 5 months after the explosion or on the island? I'm confused.
After the explosion.
Okay, so after the explosion.
Because the team's together. They're still together. So.
Yeah. So, let's see. Diggle. It looks like, if we're not 100%, but I think he's still having issues with his wife or something with Argus.
Yeah, but I think
there's something strange going on with him and Argus right now. But they haven't gone into detail with him at all. Like, they haven't showed him rarely on the island. All we know is he got hit by something on his shoulder, and it's bothering him. That's the only thing we really know.
I don't think it's bothering
so
him. I think he's actually having a shell shock kind of moment because.
Well,
yeah,
he was doing this type of thing.
Yeah, but he was. But the whole thing is, and he's holding that gun. Every time he's trying to shoot the gun, he shakes, and it's almost like he can't pull the trigger. And they actually said, when you see a scene where it looks like he pulled the trigger,
it just shoots like right next to the people.
The new Black Canary walks up and goes, "Listen, you didn't fire a single round. What's going on?"
Yeah. So Diggle's having issues with something going on with the shoulder and him not actually hitting anyone at all. We have the new Black Canary. She went through something with Lance. Apparently on the island. Well, gosh, let me get there. So, new Black Canary and Lance went to go to see if the Laurel was dead. Found out she wasn't. Tried to, they battled a little. Lance shoots Laurel and saves the new Black Canary, and they're just like, oh my gosh, just tell them she was dead when we found her. So they lied to the team, then they had to tell them. But, you know, she felt alright about it because Lance did save her life, so it's a win-win. But Lance feels super guilty about it because he thinks it's his daughter, but it's not, and he knows it's not, but he feels like a gut feeling. So he's having difficulties with that process. Laurel does come up, and there's a new villain in the very beginning. He gets captured by Oliver, and then Laurel kidnaps him from the police station, tries to blow people up, yada yada, do her thing. She escapes. Oliver, he has to be a father to William now. We find out that on the island, spoiler, his mom does die. And so does Thea, which not really. She's in a deep coma. She hasn't gone through anything yet. So I'm feeling like
they make you think she's dead the whole
episode.
episode.
They make you think she's dead. Then at the very kind of end, they see that she's in a coma. So I feel like they're kind of putting her on the side right now and leave her there just so that they have her if they need her. But if, like, she's not really a big part as of the beginning of this season. So she won't be a big part until they feel like they want to take her out of the coma. Let's see, who else? We got Felicity, but there wasn't a whole lot of Felicity going on. There's some tension with Oliver and her still, but I'm not 100% about that. Something's happening there.
Basically, the one thing I liked about this episode was the fact that the team's together. They're actually working together. They're not grieving really like they are, but not. They're actually working together and still going through their goals, stopping people and just doing their thing. And I love that because, that whole month, all those months that they've been dealing with this, it's almost like they're kind of letting that be the grieving period that we never got to see. And they're moving on, which is the first episode out of all of the other shows to actually do that.
Yeah.
They were not grieving, and it was nice. I mean, the only one that was kind of guilty, he felt guilty, was Lance, but either way, it's...
Yeah, I feel like Lance is always grieving now.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's so much better, and they had a strong opening. There's a new villain. There was a bomber guy, but they ended up capturing him anyway. You have Laurel, who's on the loose, who's attacking cops, trying to get revenge on Lance, because Lance shot her. And there is a mystery person who we find out at the very end walks up and saves Laurel on the island. And we have no clue who he is. It's just some guy who walks up and saves her.
Yep.
But
one
thing I did like about this episode is Deathstroke's in it. They explained that Oliver kind of lets him. We feel like Deathstroke's had his little reprieve, that he's kind of felt bad for what he did. The Mirror Crew was gone, and Oliver, since he's helped save Oliver and the team, Deathstroke got to go free, and he went to go look for his son, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Even though I believe his son ends up turning evil. So, I don't think Deathstroke's done. I think Deathstroke will definitely be back. Maybe not in this season, but in some season.
Yeah, I feel
some show, actually.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to bring him
Teen
back
Titans!
sometime. But the biggest thing, the biggest spoiler of all, at the super very end, comes on a news channel, and they...
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
How do you forget about this?
I don't know, it's written down at the bottom,
It's the
too.
biggest secret of all.
I have it written down in notes, and I forgot about it.
On the news, I believe Laurel or someone in that group, or the guy's mystery guy, they tell the news that Oliver Queen is Arrow. They show a big picture.
They don't tell the news.
The
news caught him. They don't tell the news.
Well, I don't know.
The news actually...
The news said something. I feel like they got something linked in there.
It was one of the times where Oliver was out with the team, and he took down his hood, and the news crew that I guess was either trying to get to the scene or whatever, they caught a picture of him without his hood, but he has the full outfit on. So they are now saying that Oliver Queen is identified as the Arrow.
I feel like there's a leak somewhere, but I guess whatever you want to think.
It
I
could-
think that. You could think you're winning.
It could be. I mean,
I don't know. I
no
feel
one
like
really
the
knows.
villain would, like, Laurel had the perfect opportunity to steal a picture
but you
from
know what?
the base and then give it to them.
If they do another villain reveals his identity and he gets away with it, it'd be like the freaking 5th season. I mean, like, seriously, how many seasons are they going to do that? You had Ra's al Ghul that did it, I think last season, Adrian Chase did it, and I think Damien Dark did it at one time too. So there's 3 seasons already that we've done this and he's gotten away with it. So,
Well,
you know what, if they know, let them freaking know now. I don't really care anymore.
Well, you can't even forget about the first season where Lance was saying he is it, and then he got away with it because...
It's getting old, okay?
Because he
It's like,
did.
you know what? I'm starting to hope that Oliver just becomes Iron Man. In the sense that he's just
I
like...
am
Yeah,
the Green
he just
Arrow.
comes out and is like, listen, I am saving people. What of it? Because it's just getting old.
Yeah,
But
I feel like if they keep it out there, it's not like it's going to hurt anything. Like, they don't know the rest of the team. They just know Oliver's the head of them. That's it.
Well, that was the 3 shows, guys. There is the 4th show, which is Legends of Tomorrow. I have promised her that I'm going to try to catch up on it so we can start doing reviews of that show.
Yes.
She is not exactly as interested in that show.
No, I
But-
unfortunately am not.
I am going to suffer through it because I was not that interested, but I'm going to suffer through it, try to catch up on that, so we can start adding that into the mix as well.
Yes.
But anyway, so that was your recap. So,
that was the recap from it was 10-9
week
was
one.
the first week. Was
Week one.
the first start of that. So, sorry about that.
We will have week 2 coming out before week 3
3.
starts.
It'll be-
we're going to do our best to get
Yes,
that
yes,
out
yes.
before week 3 starts.
Yes.
So we're hoping to get these out every Friday from now on.
Yes, so we're gonna try and upload this one early, and then the next one early, and then we'll be starting on Fridays.
Yep. So anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching.
Sorry, you're sideways now.
But thank you guys for watching, and don't forget,
Keep leveling up.